Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and man, I really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to check today's video out. I think you guys are going to get a lot out of it today because I'm going to show you guys what I consider the #1 lure for wintertime fishing when it's really tough. Pretty much through the months of like December through early March. If you guys set this rig up the way I'm going to show you here with the little megabass shad and the core tackle hover rig on it, I'm going to give you guys some tips and advice on how to set it up, how to build it, and then where to fish it at. It's like using live bait under a lot of situations. There is not a better finesse bait for tough fishing conditions or finicky bass than the setup I'm getting ready to show you guys here. So we'll get into that in today's video. Also guys, quick reminder, just want to let anybody know, anybody interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, you can do that by going to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat, Professional Angler, and just shoot me a private message. I'll get you guys set up for that, all the info. And also, please check out our winter Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns that I built for Fish the Moment. It'd be a great resource to actually use this setup I'm going to talk to you guys today, because it's going to give you a lot of good winter places to fish on your favorite lakes across the country. So I'll put the link in the description of the video for the map breakdown. Really appreciate that. Okay guys, you've probably heard of the hover rig before, but this thing is probably without a doubt the best jig head on the market today. This is the hover rig here made by Core Tackle. The unique thing about the hover rig, guys, everything is internal inside the swim bait. I'm going to show you how to rig it up so you don't have any head showing, which makes the bait look a lot more natural. And also the design of the hover rig causes any bait you use to like spiral on the way down. So you have an added strike attractor of the spiraling effect, like a wounded bait fish, and then you can just work it horizontal through the column once you get it down to your depth zone. So I'm going to show you the setup here, guys, my favorite setups, and how to rig it and everything. The first thing you need to do is get you, this is the 3-inch megabass hazedong shad, and it's the 3/32 ounce core tackle hover rig. Now I'll link both of these in the description of my video. If you guys want to pick some up through that link, you guys can get them there. But you want a 3/32 and the 3-inch hazedong shad here. This is the setup. Now this is the challenging thing about it, because this is a small profile swim bait. It's extremely narrow here, and the hover rig is really easy to rig on traditional swim baits, are a little bit fatter. But on the hazedong shad, since it's so narrow, you've got to be very precise with this. So I'm going to show you how to do it. First of all, you want to come in with the hook right behind the head here. So you're basically like 1/4 of an inch behind, just like that. And then you're going to have to thread it all the way down to almost probably about 1/4 of an inch from the tail. And it's very important when you thread it through like this, you have got to take your time and you've got to get it perfectly straight in the middle there, because if you get it to one side or the other too much, it's going to cause the bait to run crooked. So this is pretty much how you're going to come out here, and just very carefully work it all the way through, put it all the way through until you're like that. Then what you're going to do is, the point of this is you want to pull it and bury it in the head here. Now this takes a little bit of practice. You know, once you rig a few, you get it down. But that's the way it looks like when you're set up there. See, the advantage of this hover rig, guys, is now there's no jig head there. Most swim baits have a jig head on the end, but now you've got the natural looking bait fish there. You know, the hook's hidden, so it's not a strike detractor. And like I said, the hover rig is going to cause this thing to spiral on the way down, and then you can just reel it straight through the water column like that once you do get it set up there. And they got a bunch of different colors, and you know, in the Tackle Warehouse link, but this is one of my favorite, guys, right here, this baby bass looking color. Okay, so that's how to rig it up. Now next, let's talk about where to fish it and how to fish it. One of the things that you're going to have to get used to on this, which a lot of people don't do, is go to 4-pound test line. I use 4-pound test Seaguar and Vizex line with this setup, because this is truly a finesse setup. The difference between using 4-pound test line and 6-pound test line is you get better control and you get better feel on the bait, and you can cast it farther. You can cast this bait probably about 20% further with 4-pound test over 6-pound test. Now I know a lot of people may not be comfortable with 4-pound test, but guys, you can land giant fish on 4-pound test because this is an open water technique. So go to 4-pound test. I'll put that Seaguar and Vizex link in the description too if you guys would like to get a spool of it. Some type of a medium action bait cast rod. I use that megabass 611 whip snake model. Now the areas that I fish this thing on are dependent upon where I'm at. My favorite thing by far, any wintertime fishing with the setup, is just on main lake points. I like to get on the flatter main lake points depending upon the water clarity. This is a clear water technique, so you need to have water visibility at least 3.5 feet. I prefer water visibility between like 4 and 7 feet for this to be really, really good. But not to say you couldn't catch them around 3 feet, but perfect depth would be 4 to 5 foot clarity, clean water situation. And especially if you have a lake that has a mixed species. If you guys have a lake that has a big population of largemouth spotted bass and smallmouth, like a lot of lakes across the country, deadly. Especially you guys that fish spotted bass lakes. All you dudes that fish Lake Lanier, all the spotted bass lakes in Alabama, Lake Murray, Ozark lakes, Northern California lakes, this is a deadly bait for spotted bass. So I just fan cast around those points. I try to really determine the depth the fish are going to be in from the water clarity and paying attention if I see any bait fish. Sometimes I'm throwing it to the bottom and just reeling it slow off the bottom. Other times I'm counting it down 20 feet. If I see bait there, just reeling it wherever you think the depth of the fish are at. The next piece of structure it works really good in, and this is really good on lakes that have blueback herring, is just fishing this thing right down the middle of the coves or the ditches or guts or whatever you want to call them. Just get into some big coves off the main lake, go about 2/3 of the way back in the cove, get your boat in 25, 30 foot of water and just cast straight down the middle of the cove. And again, count your bait down to wherever you think the fish are going to be. I've caught a lot of fish doing the same thing on bluff banks and bridge piers. Really good deal with that. So anyway, guys, if you got a tough fishery, or if you have a lake that has a lot of spotted bass or smallmouth, clear water, finicky fish, post cold front, those bright bluebird days with that much wind, water temperatures in the 40s and 50s, try this setup, guys. 3-inch megabass hazedong shad, core tackle hover rig on it, link in the description there. It's going to get you a lot of bites. So hope it helps out. We'll talk later.